Hi everyone, welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the EVE Online markets. I'm your host, delonewolf. And concerning PlanetSide 2, the beta is ending today. I actually stopped playing last week because I didn't want to burn myself out before the launch, and I felt that any progress I would make and any effort I would put this late in the beta was a bit of a waste. So yep, no more PlanetSide 2. The launch is in just a few days on the 20th, and I'm definitely going to try and play some PlanetSide 2 in between its launch and the launch of the EVE Online expansion. So we are here for a look at the market. Before that, maybe another quick announcement about the live events. I was in Evolen 2 days ago, where Serpentis were trying to coerce the owner of a facility making these Isiris poppies. In the meantime, I was there with some loyalist capsuleers, and well, it was still a bit up in the air, but it looked like we managed to convince the owner of the planet to leave the defense to capsuleers and not trust the Serpentis. But we are still waiting for the Serpentis invasion itself. They have vowed that they would take the facility and the poppies no matter the price. So we'll have to wait and see how that develops. A bit of information that did come out of all the conversations there is that these poppies are used in Minmatar religious ceremonies, or at least some of the chemicals derived from these poppies. But I suspect it's a bit more important than that, but that's the information we got. It seems to be linked to the Minmatar. So let's get started on our market chat here, and as usual I'll quickly start up with the minerals. Let's see, in station, because Jita market is the most important one. 630 for titanium, 625 for the buyers. That's up a little bit. The chart, let's see if I can find maybe a chart that's a bit useful. Nope, it's definitely not looking like we have a really useful chart here for titanium. But it's up a little bit in my opinion. So let's have a quick look at pyrite, what that one's doing. That one is closer to 13, yep, 1330 and 1306 for the buyers, so that's up as well, I would say, probably around 1 ISK. Chart doesn't show it that much yet, but you can see at the tail end here of the 1 year chart. Maybe I'll move to the 3 month chart. It's moving back up towards 13 ISK on the average, and some data points are above there. Let's see, Mexalon. If it's 61, 35, 60, 65, maybe up 1 ISK as well, but that's pretty flat. On 60 ISK the difference is a lot less pronounced than what we see in pyrite, which I think is up a little bit. So that's pretty interesting. Isogen, I'll just have a quick look at the chart there. Well, also a slight uptrend. This is a 3 month chart. So for some reason we might be seeing a slight increase in mineral prices. I have no idea where that would be coming from. If I would have to guess, I would say increased demand because of preparation for a 0-0 war. We usually get one in the winter, and I don't think this year will be any different. So maybe some alliances are upping their production of ships, and that's why demand might be a bit higher. I'll check the Drake then, which also shows a slight uptick here in the price. Pretty interesting. Yeah, back above. There's still one being sold for below 50 million, but Drake's back above 50 million for the sellers. Interesting. Let's have a look at the Maelstrom. Another, yeah, an uptick here as well. Very interesting. These are two very popular 0-0 fleet ships. Yeah, we might be seeing these guys trying to gather some resources for an upcoming war, in my opinion. I don't know who does, but yeah, a slight intake a slight uptick in demand for Tech 1 stuff, apparently. Very interesting for a miner like myself. let's have a look at the Talos price, up as well, higher than where it was 3 months ago. Let's have a look at the prices. 86 to 87, almost 88 million. Yeah, definitely interesting. I'm seeing rising prices here, the beginning of rising prices for Tech 1 stuff. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that, and I have to try to find out what's going on there. Let's move on to the Guardian Tech 2 ship. I would expect a rising price for these as well. Well, that's maybe a bit more on the flat side. Data points definitely downtrending here. What's more important is probably the margin. The Guardian used to have 13 or 10 million ISK margin. Right now it's back down to 4 million. So that's also interesting. It keeps showing that the Tech 2 market is very volatile. The margin is closed, so I wouldn't go for Guardian trading at the moment. This could also mean that there is an increased demand for Guardians, closing the margin where most Guardians would actually be picked up on buy orders and not so much on sell orders, which is possible. I think it's not as big a market as the Tech 1 chips. Pretty interesting that we've seen this margin close this much in just 1 week. I don't think well, maybe I'll quickly go and have a look at the other cruisers, advanced cruisers, logistics. I'll have a quick look at the other ones as well. Basilisk, that one has got 10 million margin. Oneros, 15 million, always has the largest margin, and the Scimitar 4 million. If I were a trading guy, I would be looking at the Basilisk at the moment. The Oneros is just sold in fewer numbers, I think, although it has the biggest margin. Maybe you could buy 1 or 2 and try and make a bit of... Oh, wait a minute. Am I looking at it wrongly here? Oneros, 129, 126. Oh no, the margin is completely gone on the Oneros as well. Yeah, I would definitely say, like I've said before, Tech 2 market, very interesting one, very volatile one, lots of up and downs, and where previously I would have gone for mostly Guardian trading, right now I would be looking at the Basilisk, which still has a 10 million margin there. Let's move on to the Tech 3 market with the Tengu. Is that one continuing its continuing its downward slide? Prices are now at around 184 even for sellers. Wow, we used to have to pay 210 million for Tengus. Yeah, these can be bought pretty cheaply. Is it possible people are overestimating the size of the nerf a little bit and how useless the Tengu will become? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see for the expansion. I think it's still a little bit too early to say that these are too cheap prices, but it is possible though that people are just dumping their reserves to try and get whatever they can at the moment, as much ISK as they can. I don't know. If you feel risky, if you know more about the Tengu than I do, you might consider picking them up, a couple at like below 185, maybe some at some time a bit later. If it turns out the nerf is not that hard, you might be able to sell them for a profit. It's a possibility. I personally think it's a bit too early to tell. What's next? Quick look at the Galente fuel blocks. Still trending back down towards 13,000 ISK, which seems to be the current price on the market. Very low margin, as you can see, only 500 ISK here on this 13,800 ISK. It seems to be the current price, which historically, let's have a quick look at the 1-year chart, which historically is pretty damn low. Yeah, if you have some Galente towers or some other towers, right now you can probably fuel them for not too much ISK. I'm trying to produce them myself, of course, but if that's not an option right now, it's a good time to stock up on Galente fuel blocks for I don't know, maybe 6 months or whatever your timetables are. Anything else? Yep, Technetium, which has been that request, still slightly trending down. Just look at that, around 80k. I said that it could be a good idea to buy some of it. However, someone commented that a possible nerf to alchemy, making the cost of creating technetium from other raw materials lower, would cut in the price even more, which is a possibility, although I personally haven't heard any rumors about a change in that sense. And looks like server's going down in 1 hour, so I'll finish up. Well, I still have an hour left, that won't be a problem really. But yeah, technetium, of course, if it turns out that they are going to change the alchemical process to create technetium, yeah, this will decrease the price even more, of course. This is the reason why it's settling at 80k at the moment. But I do think that a large part of the supply is still from the technetium moons, and a 0-0 war is something to keep an eye on, because I think it still could have a large impact on the price as well. No doubt that a nerf to the cost of creating technetium from other materials would of course slash the price even further. That's of course the risks of trading, you never know what's going to happen. Then I'll have a quick look for one that personally interests me a little bit. Medium and small armor repairers, remote armor repairers, just because I want to see if there has been an impact. Oof, that's pretty bad chart to look at. Well, here I can see an uptick right there. I can see an uptick right here as well. It's already passed, of course. And let's have a quick look, maybe at the dead space ones, which I found. Well, these are still young charts, although we can see an uptrend in some of them. So yeah, my theory on this one is that the changes to frigates and cruisers, where they will be real remote repping hulls, will increase the price in these medium and small remote armor repair systems. It looks like it's already been done for the most part. There where people believe that most profit can be made have already bought substantial stocks of them, it seems. So yeah, a bit late on that one on my end. I wouldn't invest in that anymore, but good news if you have found some dead space remote armor repairs like I did in that Serpentify outpost. You might be able to sell it for quite a lot more than what the EVE system is currently showing. And right here we're ending up as always with Plex, which still seems pretty stable around 580, 590, something like that. Yeah, almost 590. In station 581 for the buyers, so that's only an 8 million ISK margin, not a very big margin. So I think that means it's the market price, it's what people are willing to pay for Plex at the moment. Historically very high, but keep in mind we've had I would say around maybe a good year of inflation, with some serious episode. The faction warfare debacle has made some very rich people. The incursions have made some very rich people as well. And yeah, in my opinion, this is the market price that people agree on at the moment, 590 for the Plex. I think there is still a chance for a pullback after the expansion, although I think it's going to be a lot less than what we see here on the red chart, a serious drop of almost 50-60 million. I would say if the price ever goes back to 550 million, I would personally expect that to be the very bottom of what is possible for Plex for the next year, unless anything drastic happens, of course, where CCP would step in personally. But yeah, if it ever comes close to 550 million, I think for long-term investments that would be a time to jump in and buy a few Plex. Anyways, that's it for this week's EVE Talk, and I will see you all next time.